person.
But is it totally out of the question? If he comes at you right, say you do a deal.
No, because then
and it's after the deal.
No, because if I feel the energy,
love is love.
But no, if I feel the energy, then I'm gonna start thinking about my stuff in this house, and then I ain't gonna like the house because the closet's gonna be too small. Then he's gonna have to sell the house, and then we're about to get. So it gets to a whole long situation to just try to eliminate it.
So you have thought about this?
What?
Wait a minute, we just went from a conversation. We went from maybe no to the closets don't work. So that's
why I try to.
So this is what's going to have to happen in order for that to happen.
I know my mind is going to start thinking about, okay, he living way out here. I don't want to
be out here. Way out here.
I'm not going to be driving over here, so it ain't going to work out. So in my mind, think about this. I'm over 40 years old. You already know. You already have set your things together now.
What if it's in the perfect location where you want it, around the area that you want, got the backyard, got the closets,
got everything.
The full car
then we
garage.
Can consider. Then I might bat an eyelash or something.
The misconception is that being a gentleman is just about being polite or courteous to women. In actuality, to be a true gentleman means that you have respect for your fellow man, so it encompasses men and women. Style is something that you evolve into. It's about your personality. It's about how you live your life.
Welcome to the next edition of the Gentleman of Style Show. I'm Baldwin.
And I'm Preacher. Today we got a lovely show for you guys. We got a great guest. She's a phenomenal woman. I'm going to put it that way. That's the easiest way. She does so many things, has so many things going on.
Yeah, she really does. She has more stuff going on than I even realized. And I just found out some interesting things earlier and everything. But that's okay. We're going to get into all of that in this episode. So without further ado, do you want me to do it or you want to do it?
I'm gonna let you do it.
You want to let me do it?
I'm gonna let you do it.
Let's welcome to the set of the Gentleman of Style Show, Miss Gina Nash. It's a pleasure. So honored that you could join us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Yeah. We know we met you in the green room earlier and everything. We had a casual conversation. But, how we generally like to do it, we want to just kind of find out a little bit about your background, where you're from, how'd you get to where, you are right now at this current point. So just kind of tell us, we know your name, you're Gina Nash, okay? Where are you from? Because I found out earlier you're not indigenous to the Atlanta area. So where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Carson, California.
West Side? I just I always want to say that. I'm not from California. I just want to say that.
You always wanted to say that?
Okay. Now, a lot of times people, they don't generally leave California. So how did you manage to leave the great weather that I always hear about?
The beautiful
in
weather,
California, yes.
the ocean.
Yes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
ocean. I forgot about the ocean.
I lived in
Tell
California.
us about it.
Lived in California for about 2 years. Go. That's their story.
Well, I got here, got to the South from college. I went to Grambling State University, GSU Tigers.
Big up to Grammar. Big up to Grammar. Yeah.
And kind of did a lot of things in my life. I danced for about 7 years.
Dance from Magic City?
No, not Magic City.
Oh, okay.
I'm technically
Hey, we're not
trained.
taking anything away from that.
I am a trained
Okay.
dancer. Danced all over the world. Actually, I had to come home because my dad got sick.
Right.
And when I came home, I went into a state of depression because I missed being on the road. I missed doing something that I really loved doing.
And this was the dance.
And this was
part.
dance.
Okay.
And so
with,
my
with
mom.
the Mavericks and all, right.
Well, that was before I got to Mavericks. When I missed dance, my mom's like, "Well, you can dance, but you got to do something around here to dance because you need to be home." Because I had a son
Right.
at the time. I had my son at 18, and so I was like, "Okay, what do I do?" And I went tried out for the Lakers, and I didn't make that.
Mhm.
So of course, I've never had been told no before. So did that. Went to New Orleans, and at the time, you guys remember the New Orleans Hornets.
Yes.
They were the Hornets at the time, and made that team. And we were supposed to start practice on a Wednesday.
Mhm.
It had to be our first practice, and I got a call that said, "Hey, the Dallas Mavericks are auditioning dancers." And at the time, we didn't fly a lot. Everything was driving me a lot of money.
Right.
So I drove down to Dallas and tried out. And Dallas has 3 different
Dance
levels.
team? Okay.
They have 3 different levels you go through. Once you make the first round, you go to the second round, then the third round.
Oh, okay.
And
the process of,
yeah, and so the opportunity came. I auditioned, got all the way through to the last round, and I had to make a choice between Dallas and New Orleans. And I chose Dallas.
Oh,
Yes.
so it was like it was a compound type tryout thing.
No, it's different places because different teams have auditions at different times.
Oh, and you went
And
through
see, I had
each.
already
You went
made,
through each.
yeah,
Okay,
I
see.
didn't make the Lakers, but I did make the Hornets. But Dallas had a bigger market.
Oh,
So when the
Very big.
opportunity, yeah,
Very
and
big
I knew nothing about New Orleans other than you used to go down there for Mardi Gras and party, from college. And when I got an opportunity to dance for Dallas, that was where I was supposed to be. I brought my son down, got married, lived life, came to Atlanta about 5 years ago, and I'm here.
Man, so you are like new to Atlanta. 5 years is, I mean, it's a good amount of time, but it's not like a lengthy amount of time. So you're fairly
Yeah,
new to
5
the
years,
area.
5 years in, love every
Okay.
minute of it.
And you're basically still discovering Atlanta, per se.
I guess you could, well, I'm a real estate broker, so
You are.
You all-
I'm
the
all
time.
over. I'm
Right.
always
You are
discovering
all the
something.
time.
But yeah, I'm learning something new about Atlanta every day, and I think a lot of people that's been here for 20 years still learning something new about Atlanta.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
always something going on here.
Yeah.
So what went into, was it the fact that Dallas was a bigger market? What went into that decision between New Orleans and Dallas?
Well, as you know, as a dancer, you don't make a lot of money. You don't make a lot of
Honestly,
money.
I'm just
I
curious.
didn't know that.
What is the salary like as a dancer?
Well,
I mean,
back now it's different. Well, back then we got like $48 a game.
Are you really?
Dallas was a big
That's what it
market.
is. You said the same thing.
Yeah, well, you
No.
made your money off appearances and stuff like that.
What do you mean? How does that work?
Well, when you're in a bigger market, you have more appearances. Just think about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders,
Yeah.
right? They have a whole show now,
That's true.
but they go all over the world. They dance all over the world, so a lot of your money is made.
Oh,
Off
okay. Because I wasn't.
And it just depends on the market, the team you're
I did
in.
not
Your
know
high-powered
I didn't know
teams.
that either.
Yeah, your high
I
Laker girls.
thought they were on salary.
No. A lot of them have
Honestly,
jobs. They have regular jobs and lives.
I kind of, I didn't think they were millionaires, but I thought that, there was a pretty decent salary.
Compensation.
But I-
This was early 90s, guys. So,
Right.
that
But I'll be
was
honest.
early 90s.
Flash forward. I
Hold
mean,
on.
what is it now?
I
mean,
took
how
that-
does it
I
work?
don't know now. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I took that from the Dallas Cowboys. I just assumed because they've been so widespread for years.
For years.
I just assumed that was.
No, they're not. I
You
mean, you most of the girls that dance on these professional dancing have other jobs or some sort of business of their own, dance studios and things like that. So that's where you make your money, but it
So
doesn't make
so
a lot
so
of
so
money.
so that's more of a recreational type hobby type
Well,
thing,
people
or what? I
people
mean, what
join
is
those tyes of teams because they love the art of
Art of dance.
dance.
right?
You know, they love entertainment, just like an artist, right? When
Right.
they sign a record deal, they don't really make no money when they make their money on
But,
tour,
but,
right?
but it does have a certain upswing ROI that you can attach to that because of the
And again, it's the
you-
team, though.
well, yeah, I mean, I'm saying you're getting like an awareness out there. I mean, you're out there dancing, you're on TV and things of that
But
nature.
how many of the girls do you really see on TV? Like,
Well,
I
I'm
mean, when
just
you
saying.
see them on television, you're like glancing, or if you're at the game, you see.
It's blink,
So you
blink,
really
yeah.
don't know them.
But okay, this is what I'm getting at in that, and I don't think anyone maybe has used it to this platform because it is a platform.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take Cardi B for example. She was on these reality shows, and she was doing her thing, showing out and all this type of stuff. She took it, does some stuff outside of that. Using that as an example, someone that's at that level and they're dancing for a professional football team, theoretically, they could actually apply that same principle and stand out. They could be out like a socialite or something like that, and they could be identified as, that's one of the
Well, a
dancers
lot
for such. Unless there's rules around it
A
where they
lot
can't.
a lot of organizations do have rules and regulations.
Okay, then I guess that
you
my
can't.
theory goes
Yeah.
out. It doesn't work.
Yeah, a lot of them have rules and regulations that they have to follow.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's a stepping stone. The girl from what's her name? She's on P Valley. Brandy, the star
What's
of
the
the
name of
show. It's on
I haven't
Showtime.
seen it yet, but
P Valley.
Is this a new show?
Yeah, it's on I think it's Showtime, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she danced professionally. She's in acting now.
Mhm.
She's teach girls all over the world. So some people build on the platform in another
Exactly,
way.
exactly.
But it's normally once they leave, not
Right,
during. You
right.
can't, like during, you don't. The girl from Housewives, Shamia, she was a Atlanta Hawks dancer. But again, when we're talking about dancers in the 80s and 90s and
It's a
people
different
now,
world,
we
right?
got
Because
social
social
media,
media.
we got a whole
Absolutely.
different
Right. We got OnlyFans
thing. Yeah,
going on.
we didn't even have MySpace. So we was just there. We was glad to be there. I think we really, dancers back then really embraced the art of dance, and a lot of the women that did it because of passion. They had a passion for it.
Right.
Girls do it now for passion as well, but
Mhm.
that's all we had. We didn't have a social media platform to build who we were up. I think if we had social media, I'd be bum back then.
Right.
Now, were you a cheerleader?
Dancer. I cheered in high school.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Like
Pom-pom cheerleader.
yeah. Oh, I mean, I always ask
That's
that because
different.
the dancers sometimes I guess the next step when you're done with cheerleading sometimes it does go to dancing. So a
Yeah,
lot of
because
cheerleaders.
dance kind of incorporates a little bit both cheer, gymnastics, all of that. I took my love for it after I got married and stopped dancing. I took my love for it and moved it to a platform where I was able to teach girls. So I opened a dance studio and I taught little girls ages 5 to 18 years old. And they became competitive dancers. We competed throughout
Right.
Texas. A lot of them went on. I do have a couple girls that danced in the NBA, danced for Dallas Cowboys, danced for college teams and things like that went on.
Was this a different company that you started outside of that?
Yeah, I started working during this time. My son, once I stopped dancing, I was focused on my son,
Mhm.
and he played Pee Wee football. So they used to in Texas. It's one of the largest
biggest thing.
MPWFA, Pee Wee Football Association in Texas was in Dallas, Mesquite, Texas.
Right.
And my son played football, and they had drill team, and drill team turned into dance, and
Mhm.
I got involved with that. Was a member of the board there, president of an organization there, and taught girls. And then once I left there, I started my own studio and took those girls with me.
Right.
We trained them,
Right.
and I stopped doing that. I think that was like 2009 or something.
How long of a run did you have with that?
Oh, from the 90s to about 2010, 2010, 2011 was my last year.
That's a nice stretch.
Yeah, I love the little girls because I didn't have a girl. I had a son.
Right.
So those little girls became my
Wow,
daughters.
yeah, right.
And I still keep up with them today. Some of them lawyers, some of them doctors. I got a couple of them on television. So
You feel like you had
An
something,
alumni.
you had something to do with that?
Heck yeah, they Miss Gina's babies.
Gina's baby.
And still to this day, their parents say she's just like Gina. Still to this day.
I mean, that's good stuff, though.
Mhm.
That's good
And
stuff.
I keep up with my babies. It's quite a bit of them. I have a big chain of them, but I keep up with them.
But that is like so fascinating looking at just your background and now fast forward to where we are now. Because that seems like almost two different worlds. Does it feel like that to you?
No, it's just that was the fun part. Said Gina, the fun part of Gina. Then I had the business Gina. So there it was.
Let's
But I ran my dance company as a business.
Absolutely. It's a business.
Yeah.
All right. It's a business.
let's talk about the business
Okay.
for a moment. What was the first business that you officially formed? I mean, registered, had your articles of origination and all of that. What was the first?
New Styles. It was a hip hop clothing store in Shreveport, Louisiana.
New
Oh,
Styles.
really?
I was the first Black hip hop clothing store in Shreveport, Louisiana.
So where were you getting your products from?
I actually was going to Magic. I used to carry back then. Remember when
Going
FUBU,
to
Fat
Magic?
Farm?
What's
Yeah,
that?
Magic. Magic was a big clothing convention that used to be in Las Vegas. They're still in Las Vegas. It's just COVID now. They didn't have it this year, but it's a big clothing convention where all the designers and stuff would go to sell their stuff to the masses. So
Right,
people
right.
would come from all over the world to Magic in order to buy inventory to see what the new
With the new
fashion
trend
and
and
things
what's
are
on,
for the
right,
season.
right.
So that was my first business.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were at Magic?
Yes. Went to Magic a couple times. I was actually set in Puff Daddy, well, Sean Carter, Sean John collection. He actually did a presentation, and I sat right next to one of the buyers from Neiman Marcus when it was hot back then, and yeah, it's a good thing. Bow Wow had a clothing line back then.
Everybody.
Everybody. If you were a rap in the entertainment industry,
Right.
you had a clothing line.
Did you ever venture over to like New York Fashion Week and see?
No.
Okay. You
Magic was
stayed
where I
there.
went.
Okay.
Because that's where the hip hop, because my
Right.
clothing store was a hip hop clothing store.
Right.
So that's where they were. And so that was my first business.
Okay.
So,
Second.
hold on. But sitting in that area, being, along the lines of the hip hop entertainers, how was that interaction for you? Because, being a dancer, I know that there's some draw there. So how was the interaction trying to get into, being in the clothing business, dealing with, Puff Daddy, Bow Wow? Because, sometimes when you're starting something, it's hard for people to, say, oh, yeah, I'm starting my business. Yeah, that's cool. But
Well, it definitely is hard. I just remember I met this guy. I would buy clothes from his boutique all the time because he had the new stuff before it actually really got really popular. Wouldn't have a lot of them, and I just used to talk to him. I buy stuff from him all the time, and we developed a friendship. And one day I was like, "Look, how I get into this?" And he told me. And my son, I had a teenage son. He was going to high school. So when he would go and buy the clothes, I would go to him, get pieces, dress my son up, send him off to school. And all the kids at the high school was like, "Where you get that from? I want that." And so we would get, go to him. I would get it from him. And then I was like, wait a minute, I think I can get this stuff myself.
right.
So he told me about Magic. And when I found out about it, I didn't have a store yet. But when I found out about it, I started going and getting stuff, and my son would wear the smallest pair because he was young, small. So back then, 28 was the smallest size, 28 waist.
Right.
He was in high school, and they used to wear him saggy and everything, so that was perfect. So he was my model. So he would go to school with the new stuff on, and all the kids was like, "I want that. Where I get that?" And they would come to my house and shop.
So your son was an influencer before they had influencers.
Yeah, my son was the
Right.
matter of fact, I was the first Uber driver.
Wait a minute.
What?
Before we talk about, I did Uber. I was an Uber driver in college because let me tell you, in the HBCUs and black colleges, you ain't had no car.
Right.
I had a car because I pouted, and my dad let me take my car down to school. And we had this nightclub that used to sit on Old Gramley Road and sat down the hill. And one day I was going to Ruston, and I saw this club down in the Delta, So I stopped there, and the guy that owned it was there, and we got to talking, and I made a deal. I said, "Look, if I can bring the students in here, we'll split the door. He was like, sure, because that when nobody going there, but the little local people would stop and buy beer, whatever. So I posted these posters around the dorms, and I was like, this club, this is going down. If you need a ride, back then, gas like 99 cents. I'm telling my age, but $20 would ride for like days. 2 weeks, right? so I would post, and the kids that I was charging $3 a round trip ticket. I would drop you off at the party, take you home. And my car stayed lit. So I was Uber before Uber. Yeah, I just didn't have the app. We didn't have a cell phone. We had to dial the room number on your phone. And my roommate would just write down what dorm you was at. She would tell you what she pick up at this dorm at this time. And they would be waiting outside. And back then, we didn't have seatbelt. We had seatbelt, but seatbelts wasn't a big thing. So you would pack about 10 people, like they sitting real tight, sitting on top of each other, but you got them to the club. And I did that my whole junior year in college.
It's wild how creative, our race of people are and everything like that. We're proving concepts before the concept actually is something that people pick up on and everything.
I gotta ask you this question.
And
I'm sure it's a lot of, but I'm sure it is a lot of people that did that. Right. In college, especially if you had a car.
Right.
In school, you was trying people go to get something to eat. What?
When you finally heard about Uber and Lyft, were you like, I will be?
I did. I said, yes. I called. My friends hit me up on Facebook to my girl. You was the first Uber driver because I was.
But that's the part that I was about to get into. It's like the way we think about things. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Granted, the times were what they were. And everything, but critical thinking, analytical thinking, and how we put things together for the potential of businesses and what we can do and what we can start is something I think is so important, because if you would have had that knowledge back then, because this is something that we're groomed in, how we would come up, we were taught, get a job, go to school, get an education, get a job, work, and save your money, basically. Those are kind of the ground things that we're told. But if we're taught that, like, hey, if we got an idea of something that works, something that's groundbreaking that no one else is doing, then that's something that we can apply, and we can create a whole spectrum of a new opportunity out there that no one has ever thought about before. But granted, we weren't raised like that, and we weren't groomed like that.
Well, I actually was.
Well, damn it, why didn't you?
My dad.
You should have been the new Uber.
My dad was worked for himself all his life and started his business and stuff. So I watched that. Like, going to somebody's job was not the thing for me. Like, well, because we didn't know how. It wasn't that we couldn't do it, we just didn't know how to do it.
We didn't have the
other.
We didn't have.
But hold on. No,
this is a whole conversation. You don't get that old to have this whole conversation.
Go ahead and say your part. Go ahead.
My thought process is, as you said, we have the opportunity to make these things happen, but we don't always have the track to understand the other levels that we need to make it successful.
That's what
and continue to move on.
Right. It's just it was just like when you did it in that moment, right? And you figure like, okay, this is good for this, but we go on. Things happen in life. We go on to something else. I think a lot of time, if a lot of the technology and the things that we have now was available back then, you would have a lot of really good inventive.
At least you would have, because you were raised in to that atmosphere. Right. Your atmosphere was different from a lot of people I know.
Yeah, it was instilled in us that, especially with me, because I didn't pay attention and people couldn't tell me what to do. So my dad always knew she ain't gonna work. She can't keep a job, and because one, I'm a Leo, and I feel that I know better than the people that run the company. So. It wasn't gonna work out.
The only way to get around that is to be the one running the company.
Right. So I got fired from every job possible because I had a better idea.
Right.
And the people like, look, this is my business. You cannot come here and tell us what to do. And I said, well, maybe this is not where I'm supposed to be.
Well, say this from your experience, because you do have that mentality and that attitude because you were groomed in it. Okay. If you had to say something to people out there that are listening, how important is it to have your own degree and your own latitude and longitude and direction of where you want to go?
It's important. It's very important. It's just one of the things I see that sometimes we lose focus in we'll come up with something and we'll do it like I just said in that moment, and it gets to be successful. We're thinking, okay, we're doing good, but we're never learning how to continue to elevate what we're doing to make it even bigger and better. So we get stuck just in that moment of what we're doing. And then when things happen, market changes or anything happens, we're like, oh shit. Oh, sorry. We're like, oh man, what do we do now? And but if we had to took that time and continue to educate ourselves and grow in the lane that that we chose for ourselves, then I think it would have lasted a lot longer or be bigger and better. I mean, just think about, look at Facebook. They started just for the school, people to find people, and look where it's grown to now because people they kept elevating and kept increasing.
And to your point, and I think that's why it's so important, like to meet people like you, and and anyone in your network that's like that, because we have to understand how to scale. Like you said, we have these ideals, but then it'll be an ideal, but then it's like gone because they don't know what to do with it.
Or they want to, or they don't allow it to grow, or they don't want any help. Because sometimes people get in business.
They don't understand how to scale.
They get in business. You can, I'm a poker player, and I remember playing poker with these big guys. One of the VPs at Hewlett Packard, and I was in this poker room, and they started talking about, first of all, I'm the only woman, and then the only black woman in the room. And they were talking about going to play golf, and now we were playing poker on a Tuesday. They were going to play golf and everything on a Wednesday. So they looked at me and said, "Are you going with us?" I said, "Well, I gotta go to work." They're like, "You work?" What? I thought you owned your company. I thought you worked for yourself. I said, "I do." And he said, and one of the guys looked at me and said, "How are you growing your business if you're in your business? Like you can't be the cashier at the desk,
right,
and keep working because you're never growing your business. You gotta get out.
Right, you gotta step outside of that so you can see it.
Right, and not only that, you gotta put people around you that has the same vision as you do.
Right.
And when you do that, like I always try to find someone who moves like me, like thinks like me, can finish my sentences. My assistant, that's how she does.
That's so important.
She thinks like I do. I don't have to tell her anything because she automatically knows. But when you get a person that's just as invested in your business as you are, they can hold this part down while you continue to grow because they see the bigger
understand
picture.
the objective. They know where
you're going.
So let's get to now. With your history, it's one of those things where you look at it and you say, how did she end up here? You had that business, you danced, you did all these things. So now let's get to the real estate part. What was the first inkling that you wanted to go into real estate?
Well, I've always been in it since my big major job with Countrywide Home Loans is where I started. Okay. And at that time, I was a processor. Then I moved to a loan officer, then to an underwriter. So even when I danced, I just had to have a job because I had to pay bills, sure. And that was with Countrywide. So I've always known, learned the mortgage industry and understood real estate. My dad owned a real estate development company in California. He built homes. They knocked down homes and rebuilt pretty ones. So he's always built. So I've always watched him. I look like a girly girl right now, but I do get dirty. I do know how to lay bricks. I do know how to fix the dishwasher. I do know how to do electrical.
What?
Okay.
I learned that from my dad. So I learned and watched that.
That's serious.
And so when I was doing in the mortgage industry, I was making really good money. I mean, we were killing it. We were killing it. So I learned real estate that way. And then when the market tanked, that's when I started my second company, which was Unlimited Real Estate Services. And I reached out to my connections with Fannie Mae and HUD. Hey, I've got my own business. I'm doing, renovating properties. You need any help evictions? And honestly, I ain't know nothing about that. But I told them I did. You got to fake it till you make it. Told them I had all these crews. I ain't have nobody but myself. Didn't even have a truck or a trailer.
Oh my God.
But to them, they would have thought I had a whole corporation standing behind me.
Hey,
And they gave me my first job, which was an eviction. And I went to the Home Depot and got me some workers. And we did that eviction. And we did that for, I built my company at the Home Depot. The Home Depot.
I like it.
I would say shout out to Home Depot, but
Yeah.
they were
Thank you,
just,
Home
they were just,
Depot.
and that was just the
Oh, they were
location.
just-
Yeah,
yeah.
they were just the location.
No, there was the people out there, and I met people at Home Depot, and I built a team from Home Depot people that started my company. And so at that time, we were going in doing evictions, yard maintenance, cleaning out the properties, renovating them for the bank to put them back on the market for sale.
Right.
And so when people would come in the house, they would ask my contractors, hey, you know, how do we find, we want to buy this house. How do we find out about it? So I was giving the business to other agents. And then the light bulb went out, say, Gina, what are you doing? Go get your real estate license and sell them your dang self.
Right.
And that's what I did.
Right.
so in starting that part of it, and it's funny that you say that, how you galvanized people, just you didn't know, but you knew what you wanted to do. How important is it sometimes to just have that vision? Like with real estate is something that's not for the faint of heart. If you ain't in it to win it, it probably might not be for you. So what would you tell somebody, okay, I'm starting out, you know, what early advice would you give somebody to do that?
Well, the first thing I would say, if you're getting in it because you see the some of the agents on Instagram with fancy cars, nice clothes, then you're in it for the wrong reason.
That's not true? Do they have
Yeah.
fancy cars and nice clothes?
You can get nice cars working at Target if you do it right, but
That
you know, you get,
I mean,
but a lot of people get into the business because they think, oh, I'm gonna, you know, make a whole lot of money. But
Right.
it takes a lot of energy. You gotta know this business. Like you gotta eat, breathe, sleep real estate. You know, you eat what you kill, right? So you gotta keep, you know, you really have to continue. Once you get into it, you have to continue to grow into it. Like it is so many avenues of real estate that one could really get into, from investing to the education part to, you know, the investment. I said that the investment part, but you really have to get in it for the right reason. If you're in it just because you want to just get a quick check, then you're gonna have a rude awakening.
Okay, give us this. You're successful in it. What is your strategy
As far as being successful,
as far as building your company?
well, it started out with just me.
Okay.
Starting out, and what the reason that I started my company, Nash Realty Group, is because I had found a lot of people that really wanted to get into real estate,
Mhm.
but just didn't know the right way to get into it and
Mhm.
understand it. I met a lot of people that go off and get their license, and then they're like, okay, now what do I do? And they found themselves lost. Like,
So part of your so this part of your strategy, this portion of it, you have people that are out there and they're certified and they've got their licenses. You okay? Bless you. Bless you.
sorry.
You have people out there, they're certified and they're licensed,
Mhm.
but they're lost, you know, to a degree because they haven't experienced that world yet. They don't know how to move in that world. So, and I'm just trying to follow along, maybe jumping a little bit ahead.
Mhm.
You can bring that person in and you can give them what they need.
I teach them how not to make the mistakes that I made.
Okay.
I've been doing real estate since 2009. When everybody was running out, I made a lot of money during that time because I've learned another way to do it. And I try to teach people not to make the mistakes that I made. Show them another way to do it, the right way to do it
Right.
in the beginning, so they don't knock their heads off for the first 6 months, you know, trying to learn it.
Right.
So that's what I do. And I just take on people that either new to real estate, so just getting licensed, or some that has been licensed and they just kind of like stepped away because it wasn't being successful in closing. So I taught them the right way to how to close, how to get clients,
Right.
how to make those clients. My clients are my clients for life. I'm just not your real estate agent for this transaction. I want to be your real estate agent for life. And those are the clients that continue to send you business that's generic business, and then they keep coming back to you. You know, whether it's the second home, whether it's an investment deal, some kind of way. And that's the big thing with me.
Phase two.
Okay.
Okay, you bring them in, you educate them, you take care of them, you bring them up to where to speed to where they need to be. Is there a phase two?
Phase two is just continue on your success.
Okay.
I
Well, I mean, I
want,
didn't
you
know if
know,
you got into like,
no, I
making sure
teach.
that they're stable and using their finances and making the right decisions
Well,
on that. On that.
well, that's something we actually discuss in phase one
Okay.
because I try to ask them, okay, real estate, you want to do real estate, how, what other additional value do you want to add to that business?
Okay.
And some people decide they want to, they love decorating, so they want to do home staging. Okay, that's great. How do we implement those two things together? How do you build that brand, that business by putting those two things together?
Right.
So all of that really is in the whole one phase as
Okay.
part of, my mentoring program that I do. But you did ask me about a mentor.
Mhm.
And I said that I didn't in the beginning, but now I actually do. Frederick Oakland from Million Dollar Listings. And I know y'all watch the show. I love his tactic. I love his approach. And I read his book. Great book, by the way. Make sure y'all get it. And I've learned a lot just from watching. Actually, that show is probably one of the best real estate shows that I would say that's out there for us people. If you really want to get into real estate and understand the real estate business, I think that's a really good show to watch because they really educate you on how you're supposed to know your market, how you're supposed to know your properties, how just the whole dynamic of it, how you're supposed to walk into that appointment, how the confidence you need to have when you're negotiating, for the seller or the buyer, what have you. So
That
So
leads
we
me
know
into another question and
I was gonna say,
everything.
we know
As
you
far-
don't have a problem with confidence. We get that from when you walk into the room. Go on. I just want to say.
You were saying, to the confidence thing and all of that. How important is the look? And I know we were talking about, the cars people drive and stuff like that and everything. How important is the look whenever you meet a client?
well, I mean, the look is you, though. You're selling you. So what is your first impression? If you're gonna, how do you feel when someone walks in front of you? That you give the same respect. Like if I want my lawyer to come in the room ready for war, ready to battle, I need to be walking in the room ready to battle for my client. So, far as dress and things like that, I mean, you dress for the job you want. So if you want to go play golf, you wear the golf clothes, and maybe you'll get a golf buddy. So I think it's important now, but everybody's different. Some people can have a client and have clients by wearing shorts and t-shirts. That's them,
I guess that's the personality of
Yeah.
it. If you're in that space and you know what your client wants and they know who you are as a person, they're comfortable with you as a person as
Right.
opposed to what you're wearing.
What you wear, right?
Yeah, I was more speaking about your particular isolated arena that you deal with. How important is it to you?
For me, I mean, I always want to look good because you never know who you're gonna meet. Like,
She said
you gotta stay
gotta
ready.
be right.
You gotta stay ready at all times. Now you ain't gotta be beat for the gods,
Right.
but you just have to stay ready. I mean, I'm a brand. I'm my own brand, so if I'm
So
gonna
personally, you have a outlook as far as whenever someone sees you, you got to be on point.
right.
Each and every
Gina's
time.
in the city, and Gina, yeah.
That is one of your biggest models. I
Yeah.
like that. Catchy.
When I'm out, I'm out. But I mean, it's just me. It's just I want when I'm out in public, I want people to take me serious of what I do. I know sometimes we can go to Walmart and be shopping, and sometimes the abundance, I can't do all that. But if I hand somebody a business card and I'm shopping for groceries, I don't want to look like I just got through butchering a cow.
So you're on point 100%.
I mean, I'm not dressed all up, but I mean, I'm a woman, so
Still
I
look
want
good
to.
without- Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I might run into my husband in the meat department.
Well,
but,
I'm just saying the reason I asked you I'm not with you 24/7. I wouldn't know.
I believe you.
So, but it kind of gives an inside look at, hey, this is what you do to carry yourself and everything.
Yeah, I mean-
So I'm just asking you that so people know, hey, this is how you need to behave. If you want to get to somewhere and be at a certain level, you need to look at yourself and do
Yeah, you have to
things
be
in this way.
comfortable in you because you can wear anything and feel confident in it. That's you as the individual person. So, but for
Yeah,
me,
absolutely.
it's when I service the public. I'm a real estate agent. I'm in the public. So when I'm in the public, I try to present myself that way.
Okay, good enough.
With all of that being said, especially Gina in the city,
How did the Condo Queen come in?
Because I love condos.
You know,
I love selling condos. I know everything about condos. They're, I love them. So I call myself the Condo Queen because I am a master of condos. Everything about them.
so is that, would you say that's a specialty? Because I don't.
That's a specialty for me.
Is there a standard spiel whenever you're introducing, or
No, because people just know. People that just follow me, they know, because I put that on everything. But no, I mean I sell all types of real estate, residential and commercial. So I'm not just one node of that. But when I'm teaching, I can teach people the art of condos. Condos are big here in Atlanta, so it's a very good market. So I wanted to take it all in, everything about it. I wanted to learn, wanted to soak it all up. So then that's why I call myself.
how big is your company right now?
I have about 10 agents right now
Okay, good.
of my own.
Good. You
I don't want anymore.
you have a location.
We're in Buckhead.
You're in Buckhead?
I'm originally with Palmer House Properties. It's the master broker,
Mhm.
and I'm up under Palmer House, and I built Nash Realty Group as a affiliate of Palmer House Properties.
Okay.
Now, if I want to, I guess, become a student of yours, is that something? How would someone go about doing that?
At Nash Real Estate Academy, and that's where we offer pre-licensing and post-licensing for people that want to get into the real estate business.
Y'all heard that right? This is not me. I don't have anything to do. Don't say you can't find it. Don't say you don't know.
It is www.nashrealestateacademy.com.
There it is.
There it is. Absolutely.
And I can help you be a successful real estate agent.
And
A
that-
success.
That's
A
important.
successful one, not just a real estate agent, a successful real estate agent.
Sounds like you're saying that you're a little bit above the rest.
I love
No, there's a lot of successful agents here in Atlanta.
That's not what I heard just now.
Yeah, it's a lot of successful. It's a lot now. I can't say all of them will help you be successful, but
And you said
I said I can help. I will.
Well,
make
yeah.
you
It
successful.
goes back to the thing.
And you
Like
said
I
that.
heard her saying that I will show you what you need to do, but I won't put you on my back and carry you. I
Right.
can show you everything that you need. I can give you all the tools and everything you need, but I can't put you on my back.
And that's
to
one of
do
the
that.
questions that I do ask when someone do reach out to me to be a part of my team or even part of my school. Now you can take the regular pre-licensing, get your license and go wherever you want to go.
Right.
But if you want to come through my mentor program, through me helping you become a successful agent, one of the questions I ask is why? Why do you want to get in real estate? And that answer will determine if I take you or not. Because I don't want someone that says, oh, because y'all be making so much money, because you're going to get your feelings hurt when you ain't making it. You know what I'm saying? So
what's the craziest answer you've heard? So
that one,
that's it. Okay.
y'all drive them nice cars, and I'm like, bro, I got an Impala. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about?
That
But-
means you are successful.
Well, I do have a Range Rover, too, but I drive
Well,
an
no,
Impala.
I'm just saying that means you're successful with your whole look, the whole professionalism. Because when people see something and it looks successful, for some reason people think it's easy. You know, they
Definitely.
they look at it and they see, you're out in the city, you're hanging out with your friends, you're doing the things that you do, and they say, I want to do that. She's a real estate agent, but they don't realize the work, that you had to put in.
The many crying,
Right.
the many sacrifices, that you have to put in to really get to it, because it's a lot of work. I mean, it's not just opening up a house and, okay, go ahead, go look at it. No. I mean, some houses do sell themselves, but still, you still have to know and understand the business.
What's the biggest deal that you've closed?
4.6 million.
4.6 million.
In Sandy Springs, actually.
Sandy Springs. Is that a house?
It was a
commercial?
house. It was a residential property. Actually, saw the guy. He used to work for the Miami Heat.
Mhm.
He wasn't a player, but he was in the office of Miami Heat. Came to Atlanta, and he bought in Sandy Springs.
Was that your deal? Or was that one of your subordinates' deals?
It was one of mine. And he actually found me online, and it scared the hell out of me when he called. Cause and when when somebody call you and say, well, hey, I found you on the internet, I found you online, and I see you sell real estate in Sandy Springs. I'm looking for a house in Sandy Springs. I'm thinking like, okay, bro, whatever, right? And then he's like, well, doing this time, he's like, well, can you FaceTime, And I was like, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm thinking he's trying to get a date or something, right? So, I was like, no, not tonight. We can talk tomorrow. Well, I really want to send you these few houses, and I need you to take a look at them. I need you to go look at them for me and get back to me. And again, I'm thinking he's full of crap. Like
Right,
people
right.
just call, okay, whatever. So he calls me next day, and he was legit. He sent over the financials, like, look, this. And then I ended up Skyping with him. I mean, FaceTiming with him, and he was a real legit person. He really was. And
Did he pay cash for it?
no, most of it was cash, but
Okay.
financed a little part of it.
Substantial amount of it.
Big lump sum.
Okay.
Yeah. He bought me my first Louis Vuitton bag for my gift.
Oh, he gifted you that?
Yeah, he bought me because his wife had one and it was really pretty, and I was like, oh, I love that bag. I just can't buy that bag, and so he bought it for me.
Is this a black dude?
Yeah, he was a black guy.
Is he African? Of
No.
descent?
No, he was
Not American.
no, he's
I'm
like
talking about
Cuban.
that.
Oh, I think he's like Puerto Rican, Cuban somewhere, and black.
Oh, okay.
What was
He
the
wasn't an African.
going
I'll do the African.
going through
calls
that
thing.
transition
You know.
of success?
Don't take it out.
They have money too.
I know, but I no.
You've had businesses for a while, so. But
They do have money.
I'm just, why won't you take their money?
I'm not saying I can
What's
take
wrong- what's wrong
we
with
were talking about the bag, the purse.
right.
Okay.
So I think that's why I thought you were going with it. But,
Oh, no.
But
no.
I have an investor client that's an African client. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little tricky sometimes with him, but it's all. But we get through. But see, some being a woman in this business, you have to wean them out, or you have to put your foot down in the beginning. Like, look, this either we're gonna do business, all this other stuff. Nah, so you have to let them know.
I can understand.
That was actually going to be part of my question. Like when you're in that arena, what's the biggest obstacle when you have to deal with, I guess, men? They may want to buy a house, but they also may want to,
But you got to set the groundwork in the beginning. You set the tone. In the beginning. That's all I can say about it. You just set the-
Professionalism is professional.
Yeah, you set the tone in the beginning.
groundwork,
If
and
you
this is
cheat,
what
cheat,
this-
cheat,
what
and-
this is.
get the rubbing on shoulders, don't be surprised when he rub back. So, so you got
That's true.
you set the tone.
That is
You keep it professional.
They say you can't accept a gift from everybody.
Right. Well, this gift was from him and his wife.
Right. Well, that's different. That's different.
And I hung out I hang out with him, with his wife still today. But yeah, you definitely have to,
Yeah, you gotta
set-
weigh those
yeah, set the
choices
tone.
out. What's happening.
and some people think, oh, if I flirt, nah, you don't do all that. You don't have to do all that to sell.
that used to be. Well, I can't say for everybody, but that, as I understand it, used to be part of, selling homes for certain people. The flirtation and the camaraderie to be able to make that sale. So, I mean, I've never been in real estate. I've heard the different conversations about.
Well, that's just them. That's them. I can't speak about them, but me, this is a business. This is my business. So we're gonna approach it that way. As my business. This is the business. Some people I can't help everybody. Some people it's just not my client, and it's okay. I don't have to help everybody. We might not be able to, mesh. Yeah, but definitely, you just have to set the tone. Next
Good
question.
Good enough.
Now, have I dated a client? No.
See, I wasn't going to ask that, but thank you.
I wasn't going.
I wasn't going to ask that, but thank you for that information.
I wasn't going.
That's personal.
But is it totally out of the question? If he comes at you right, say you do a deal,
No, because
and
then
it's after the deal.
no, because if I feel the energy,
Love is love.
but no, if I feel the energy, then I'm gonna start thinking about my stuff in this house, and then I ain't gonna like the house because the closet's gonna be too small. Then he's gonna have to sell the house, and then we're gonna get so it gets to a whole long situation to just try to eliminate it.
So you have thought about this.
What?
Wait a minute, because we just went from a conversation.
This is going to have to work.
We went from maybe no to the closets don't work. So we.
That's why I try to.
So
That's
this is
why
what's
I
going to have to
answer.
happen in order for that
Right,
to
so
happen.
I know my mind is gonna start thinking about, okay, he living way out here. I don't want to
You
be out
said
here.
way out
I'm
here.
not gonna be driving over here, so it ain't gonna work out. So in my mind, I'm thinking about this.
What
I'm
if
over
it's-
40
what if
years
it's-
old. You already know. You already have set your things together now.
Right.
What if it's in the perfect location where you want it, around the area that you want? Got the backyard, got the closets,
Got everything.
the 4-car
Then we
garage.
can consider. Then
the-
I might bat an eyelash or something.
I ain't messing with you.
Okay. All right. Okay. You good? You got anything?
I think we got a lot.
All right. I'm good too.
Oh, Jesus.
Gina,
Huh?
it has been a pleasure.
Oh, we still talking.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, my legs
it's been a
don't hurt.
It's been a pleasure. I know we got to give you a break real quick. It's been a pleasure having you on the show this evening, and you know, we love to have people of your stature come on and share, you know, your trials and tribulations with us and the audience, because we think, you know, you never know when someone is going to pick up on something that they can use. Okay. So that's kind of what the show is based off of. You know, we had a short conversation earlier about that. We don't want the crab in the barrel mentality or anything like that. We want to share information. We don't want to keep it from anyone. Okay. So we love that you came out here and you shared these stories with us. And we're going to reiterate where you can be found again out there. We didn't even get on the part that you're a lawyer as well.
I know, I got a lot.
We just skipped over that. And I wanted to get to that
Well,
at the beginning.
Let me just say this.
Go ahead.
I forgot what I was about to say. God dog it. Go ahead, go finish what you said. I forgot what I was about to say.
We totally skipped over that, and
That's
I'll be
bring that
remiss.
back in another session.
Right.
Yeah,
we'll
have you back.
We'll talk about that.
I got a lot.
great stories.
Yeah,
So we
We got to break my stuff up
Right.
in segments.
Exactly.
Bring it back.
But once again, it was such a pleasure, and we hope we can do this again. I'm sure you have more information and more stories to share. Terrence, what do you have?
Absolutely. I mean, you are an amazing woman, an amazing person. I don't want to just put it as a woman, but you're an amazing person. With everything that you've gone through in terms of just opening businesses and understanding how to handle yourself and doing it for yourself, not having people kind of show you everything. That is always one of my favorite people, because that's how, you know, we kind of came about. You know, nobody kind of showed us how to do this. So we decided we wanted to do it. We figured it out. Trial and error, and we keep moving and we keep moving, and you're an inspiration to people and our people. You know, this show is for everybody, but I will always highlight, you know, our people. So thank you for what you do. Keep doing what you do. We appreciate it, and that's all I got.
Okay.
Are you welcome?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And once again, thank you for joining us for this edition of the Gentleman of Style Show. And as we always like to say, there is no excuse for good taste.
Because at the Gentleman of Style Show, we believe in better. Till next time. Peace.
GOS, the Gentleman of Style Show.